Hey everybody, thank you for watching the replay. Thank you for hugging your friends if you think they would be interested in some handstands. I'm going to turn off my broadcast, or my vibration really quick. Hi everybody. Hello. Hello Funelix. Hi Costas. Hey! Costas, I'm sure you'll like these because I know that you like to practice handstands a lot. Thank you for hugging your friends. Hi, SMRCJR. Hi. So I'm at my grandma's and we've been eating like horribly bad for you food all day. And I feel kind of bad for doing it, but I did splurge and I ate a bunch of stuff. So I decided I needed to practice some yoga because of that. And so I'm outside, and I figured after I practiced for a little while, I would just come on here and give you some tips that I noticed have been helping my handstand progress. A lot of them are things that I've learned from other people, and then a few things that I just had from like gymnastics as I was growing up, so hopefully they will help you too. Hello, hello. Let's see if you'll be able to see it. And Costas, I still can't even do the hollow back without a wall, but I am curious if those tips that I gave you about hollow back have been helping. Wow, so many people. Hello. Okay, so first things first would be the warm-up. What is this hair doing? This hair is doing something weird. Every time I warm up, I do the little warm-up that Kino, you need time to practice. Yeah, well, you gotta do it. I do the warm-up that Kino and Beach Yoga Girl do, so just an overview in case you have no idea what they do. They do like table, press, and lower, press and lower. I do 5 of those, and then I come up and hold, and then I do the forward and back for 5 times, and then I hold 5 times. So I learned that from Kino and Beach Yoga Girl. Hello! So do those, and that will help. It's been helping my wrists because I can't quite get my wrists to a 45-degree angle without pressure, and I noticed that's tipping me over in my handstands. So try that, and okay, so try that on your hands and knees first. And then, hey Arlen, how's it going? And I promised, what's her name? I promised Lickashoe, whatever her name is, that I would give trolls a chance, but honestly, I don't think I can do it because I don't have enough time to sit here and save 300 of you. Loving life, how are you? I'm loving life too. I think to answer your question about the viewers number, it's probably sometimes it's listing ones that I have blocked, such as people that are asking for boobs or twerk or sexy or I don't know, whatever. This is about yoga and not anything else. So I will block them so that you can actually read yoga related questions. You're going to watch the replay. Bye, Costas. Okay, so I won't turn my location on again because apparently everyone in Polk County or that uses location just doesn't actually want to learn yoga. So good thing. This will be a good clearing scope. Okay, as I was saying, do the warm-up that I just showed you, and then the other one that I do is on the forearms, the same thing, up and down, forward and back. Okay, so after I do that, then I also, hello, for my handstands, I also, hi Evelyn, this is super, hi from Ukraine, thank you for joining for handstands. We're going to do a couple of little quick handstand practice tips. Other than that, I'm starting to forget what I was going to tell you because we have been getting so many unrelated comments. But what was the other thing that I just did to warm up? Crap. There was something else that I wanted to show you. Oh, okay. I think I remember. So I like to do little hops, and they are something that I would do in gymnastics growing up, and we used to call them donkey kicks. So what you do is you would probably want to go into like a downward facing dog and make sure that you're, oh, sorry, back before you get to this. On your hands, you know how in yoga you're supposed to have like your whole palm on the floor? Well, I kept noticing that I was like having a really big gap in the middle of like my thumb and pointer finger. And so I asked my yoga teacher how I could get that to actually press on the ground, because I noticed it was kind of like lifting up and stuff. And she told me, instead of thinking so much about like pressing into the ground, just think about like widening the gap between your pointer and thumb finger and almost like opening that space to the floor. And I think I'm hyper mobile in my thumbs, so I noticed it's really difficult for me to control what they're doing during my handstands. So as I started thinking only of like more like opening the full like palm spreading on the ground and not even really thinking about my fingers, it is starting to feel a little bit different. It's not easy, and I still can't even describe exactly what's going on with my hands, but I figured I would share that with you as I'm kind of progressing on the hand part, because my thumb totally like twists. I don't know if you can see this, but it's like twisting to the side, and I want it to face the ground. And it's like no matter how much I try to force it, it like feels really weird. So instead, if I just think about spreading the palm, then it kind of rolls it for me instead of like thinking about the fingers. So try that when you're doing any of these. Once they're getting blocked, they all leave. I know, there's like 300 and now back down to 26. Thank you for everyone who is in here, who is interested in handstands. I apologize for having to keep like going back and forth. I'm trying to ignore the trolls, but I really can't see your comments when there's like 300. You noticed that? Okay. So now using that palms trick that I just showed you, go into the donkey kicks that I was talking about. So spread the palms, just think about like the full palm on the floor, and then up into like a downward facing dog. When I do the downward facing dog, I make sure that I'm evenly distributing my weight on my hands. And normally I'm like very, I do this a lot in my handstands because I made a bad habit of it whenever I was a kid. So now I'm trying to do them with like arms in, so that if they were to bend, they were to bend back. And it's hard not to bend out. So if you notice that you're feeling that way, roll the elbows right at the beginning. Instead of facing them out to the side, face them to your body. So when you go into your downward facing dog, a lot of times we're still like sprawled out and our elbows would go out into like a traditional push-up. So instead, pull them in, rotate the elbows to where they would face your chest, if anything. It's your bones have to move, and it makes your shoulders do something completely different, and you can actually get into that right mode. I look at the center of my hand. So if my hands were making like a diamond, my face would be looking right at the point of the diamond. That's where I look and gaze. Next, I squat down, and I actually noticed it helped me when I pulled my feet exactly shoulder width apart, rather than sometimes I notice they're a little bit too close. So pull them shoulder width apart and kind of squat down, and this is going to look really funny, but you're going to just hop, and you're going to hop. And you notice how it starts putting the weight onto the hands. Now, the reason I do this is because I don't know if you have this problem, but in handstands, a lot of times I think whenever we kick up, we try to go, woo, and we like launch ourselves into the air. But really, like if you stand up, how do you stand up? You don't like launch yourself into the air, and if you do, you're probably going to get lightheaded and maybe fall over. Instead, when you stand up, you just fold and then find your balance and like lift up, right? Well, I imagine that a handstand should be very similar. So if you're going to push anywhere, you should be pushing kind of like in an arc and then allowing your body to unfold up. So practice that with the donkey kicks. So what makes yoga beneficial for injury, rehab, and sport? Any ideas of how it could be used? There's lots of rehab ways in yoga. There's like specialized yogis. I think you said you got it, Evelyn. I'm sorry I missed it. But I would say you would want to have like a private consultation with a yoga instructor for something that's specific, rather than general. Like handstands is kind of just if you are already practicing a lot and having the strength build up and are progressing with your yoga practice. But if you do want even more details about something specific to rehab, you could contact me. You can tweet me through this broadcast. You can hit share broadcast and ask me your question. Okay, so you're going up and over, slowly pulling it up. Everybody, okay, what are you going to scope about though? Melissa or Messiah? Gotta tell them why they should follow you. They're not just gonna follow you just because. You gotta say why. Okay, so when you're hopping, do the donkey kicks maybe like 5 to 10 times. Hey, maybe she has some really very important information, but if not, then you can block her. Okay, so come up into your downward facing dog, check the elbows, pull them in, bring it down, and spring forward and up. Okay, so your face goes forward and your butt starts to round up, not jump up. It goes around in a nice circle. Okay, thank you. I'll watch the replay and block some more. All right, last one. On the last one, I try to go out like a frog and open and then kick up, if that makes any sense. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but just know that my legs are going to go hop, out, kick, up. So kind of like that swimming. How do you know how frogs would swim like this? That's what I'm going to do the last donkey kick for. And I don't know if it'll go up into a handstand or not, but I did one earlier, so let's see if I have the strength left. I just didn't want to bore you with my practice. I rather would tell you what's going on so then you can practice too. Okay? So let's see if we can do it. It takes concentration, so don't rush. Oh! It technically got up there, okay? So it's helpful because I don't ever lose my weight on my hands if you're just going up and over versus straight up. It kind of takes the weight off of your hands and then you crash back down. All right, last tip. So this is something that I have heard forever, and it just wasn't working in my mind and my body until probably today. And the crazy part is I think it's because I've been doing, yes, exactly, that's what I was going to say. I think it's because I've been doing a lot of hip opening exercises, and I can feel that my structure in my body is changing. I'm having a lot of lower back pains lately, because I've been actually starting to tuck under my tailbone and not like have a super sway back. And it feels like I'm growing again. But as I'm having all of these changes, then I'm noticing that things are starting to work the way that I didn't think I could before. So if I'm going to tell you this, just know if at first it doesn't work, don't say, oh, it'll never happen. Just like keep stretching, and then every once in a while come back to this, and you may find that it actually works. And the thing is, I think Jules may have told me this, or like a million other people, but she was saying whenever you kick up into your handstand, since I know how to do a handstand with a really bad sway back, I would just kick up with straight legs. So I'll show you how I would normally do it in the past. I don't even know if I could really show. I would just come up like this, and I could hold it for a little ways. You need to practice with your handstands, and well, don't worry too bad, Evelyn. Wink, wink. Okay, so whenever you're doing them, just instead of going 2 legs straight up at once, even if you have them, but if you're trying to correct them, sometimes you got to go back to baby steps before you can go up to where you're wanting to be. And that's what I've done. So now, instead of going legs straight up, try to keep one leg like bent towards your body. And the reason why you're doing that is because it's going to hollow out your back. See if I'm straight, how like it would be super sway backed and my butt would be sticking out more than it needs to be. Yes, Britland does do a lot of handstands. I agree. So instead, since I knew this is where I need help with, and obviously if my legs are straight up and it's not happening, I need to make it where my body is going to go into a line so it can stack. And stacking just means like all of your main joints are over each other the same way that you would stand up. And so when you do the next time, do the same thing with your hands, spread out the palms, elbows in, gaze slightly forward, and I put my leg that I'm gonna bend towards my chest a little bit closer to my body so I can kind of like spring it up and over, but I don't straighten that leg out. And today was the first time that I was able to do this and not feel pain in my hips because I couldn't actually get my leg to stay bent towards my body because it just wasn't flexible like that. So as you do it, think about the one leg coming straight up and shooting up towards the sky and the other leg coming towards your chest. So it'll look like this. Give me a second to find my balance. Okay, it'll go up and then knee stays towards the chest. Let me try one more. And I got one to hold for like probably 20 seconds earlier, and that was the longest handstand I've probably ever held without walking. All right. So palms out, elbows in. One more. And breathe. That's the last tip. Breathe. Okay, that's going to be it for today. So you can see how my back still wants to arch. Even when I am holding one leg kind of forward, it's still arching. But when I did it earlier and I wasn't distracted, so even though I do agree that you want to video yourself for progress, if you notice that you're watching the camera too much or kind of nervous about what's going on the camera, don't video yourself every time. It was much better. I can totally see a big difference. Bruiser, Brody, that's definitely the goal. And I did hold it earlier before I did like 20 of them. And now I'm like kind of tired. And I'm still like, I feel like I didn't really wait long enough between eating, but I wanted to at least share something with you on this beautiful day since I'm here. And I hope that all of these tips, well, I'm not going to say hope anymore. I have to stop that habit. I know that these tips are good, and if you are able to implement them into your practice, have you done it against the wall? Yeah, I can do it against the wall, but I know how to cheat too much, so it doesn't really help me. Thank you, Lisa. You're welcome, Evelyn. That's funny. I said thank you, Lisa, and then you said thank you, Lisa, and I had to say you're welcome. All the blood goes straight to your head. I know. And that's something that the more that you just kind of sit in inversions and become okay, you know, maybe by doing some shoulder stands, stuff like that, it'll get better. Okay, one last thing. This is just for fun because I wanted to show you. I did notice that with my practice, just from even the monkey splits gone bananas practice that we did last month, with the wall. That's fine, Evelyn. And remember how I said belly against the wall? I think you should try that. And so with the wall, hi Mrs. G. Arlen, with the wall, if you do belly against the wall, yes, you can align better. However, with your back against the wall, like my butt, kind of like it doesn't work. I don't know exactly how to describe it without it being here. But I don't like back against the wall handstands. So I would honestly never teach any of my students back against the wall handstands because it almost makes you sway back. And that's exactly what I'm trying not to do. So I always suggest doing belly against the wall. And it's a little bit scarier that way. So change your hand placement. Really more that I just need to change my body structure. But one day whenever I have a wall, you'll see it coming up. Coming soon. Don't worry, you'll see it all happen. Okay, but I wanted to show you my forearm stand, because I am like amazed at how much stronger it's gotten, even just by doing the monkey splits gone bananas challenge, which was totally more so focused on leg strength and flexibility than arms, but it's like getting stronger. And so hopefully I'll be able to show you now, but I don't know. It's kind of getting very winded, so we'll see if it happens or not. But I wanted to at least try to show you. I totally need to move this. Okay. Here it goes. Hold on. I gotta find the right hole for my elbows. Okay, that's the hole. Alright, that's it. So I held it like 3 times longer earlier, but did you notice that I like didn't bonk my head like the other times in the past that I've showed y'all? I can feel like my body is catching it. It's very, I don't think it's visible, but I can feel it go whoop, and it like catches the balance, kind of like if you were balancing on your feet, and that's really exciting. It is very tough. Forearm stand has been way harder for me than handstands, only because it's something that I didn't do as a kid, so like that was something new for me. Handstands are not new for me, just doing them in a straight line, holding in one place, is new for me. Okay, well that was all I wanted to share with you today, and I'm in front of this lake and it's pretty nice out. It's probably going to rain soon, so I'm gonna let you go. But do you have any questions, or is there anything else that you think you want me to go over before I let you go? You're welcome, Evelyn. And I'm glad to hear what you said earlier, because I have plans. I have plans in store for you. Don't you worry. And I didn't do this on purpose. That wasn't actually why I did that. I actually invited my little baby cousin if he wanted to do some hand balancing, but he didn't want to. Yes. Woot woot. Smiley face. Okay. I'm guessing that means no more questions. In that case, then I will say goodbye, and I don't know what I'll be scoping this week because I'm enjoying this little short break. But next week, in case any of you are not on Instagram, we are going to redo the 21 days of Monkey Splits Gone Bananas challenge on Instagram. I'm not going to scope the whole thing, but maybe the times that I am able to scope, then I'll scope. And so if you're on Instagram, then go ahead and post starting April 1st. We're redoing the list while I prepare my next challenge. So that was it.